Well, hello everyone and welcome back to another Theme Park Obsession video. My name is Dylan and thank you so much for tuning back into the channel. Today, I'm hanging out at Universal Studios Hollywood to give you a Universal Studios Hollywood update. So that means we're going to check up on the surface lot behind me and, of course, Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. We got to check up on the coaster. There's so much happening with that roller coaster. And maybe we'll check up on a few other things as well. So how about you and I dive right in. And just like that, I've made it in the park and to the lookout where a lot of activity is happening. And look at this. In the wee hours of the morning, they must have done a little cycle test. And the train has made it to the first block section right there. How awesome is that? What a great shot. It looks like they also have some other things rigged up to the coaster cars themselves. So that's really cool. Now, I'm not sure if they're going to go ahead and cycle throughout the afternoon. Looks like this might stay in position for quite some time. I have a feeling they're not going to cycle while guests are here. They're going to do this after hours, not even during Halloween Horror Nights. I think they're going to do this early in the morning. But hey, you never know. You just never know. And that's why I love documenting all this, because while I'm recording, this thing could start to go, which would be amazing. What a huge milestone for the coaster, and honestly, what a great shot for us. We can see the full train for Hollywood Drift. You can see 4 cars to a train, 4 riders per car. That is so cool. Now, I'm still thinking that the zebra print on that's just all camouflage to protect the paint, and then eventually they'll take that off. But for right now, during testing, it makes sense to keep it on. And this is another good thing to note too. The position that the train is stopped in pretty much tells us that that's where we're gonna evac if that ever happens, right? If we ever ride stop on Hollywood Drift in this spot, that's probably where we're gonna be resting until we're able to get off. But look at that, right underneath the element there. That is so fun. I'm sure it was really exciting this morning watching the train make its way to the block section. I wonder how fast it was traveling, because during these testing phases, they're going at different speeds here. They're not going to go full on crazy. They're going to purposely go slow, go fast, medium. So yeah, I mean, it was probably so much fun to watch. Another thing I got to check up on is the element over the escalator. They're continuing work on the scream shield that's going to go around that element, and they've made some really good progress. You can already see some of the pieces peeking up above the brake run. So we'll head over there in just a moment. You see that they've put up a fence too. Right now they have a temporary chain link, but you can see that they are preparing for a more permanent option. And that's just to keep people safe. They don't want people walking around over there. That would not be good. That would be very, very dangerous. Now, when I was walking up, I didn't see the other train. It's probably hidden in the maintenance bay, and they might just be playing with this one for right now in the early stages of testing. And then eventually, as the next few weeks and months go on, we'll see other trains start to traverse the course. I'm thinking 4 trains total on Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift during normal operation. I feel like that's a pretty doable number. Here's a close look at the LSM launch area that's going in and out of the dive loop. Yeah, we have a lot of crew members down there and underneath the track working on those launch fins. And that's another reason why they're not going to do testing right now. Yeah, you have other crew members working on other aspects of the coaster. And another big thing is, look at the sound wall. They're making some really good progress on this. They're covering it up, and it looks like when you get to the far end over here, that they have made it to the end. Obviously, I'm going to get a way better shot when we get over to the escalators, but you can see right beyond the block brake section, that is the end of the structural steel. So yeah, really good progress since my last visit to check up on Fast and Furious. I'm sure next week we'll see even more progress on the sound wall and maybe see the train end up in a new spot. I'm thinking the train's going to end up over here, and it'll probably stay in that position, and they'll recover it and let it valley in this spot. Maybe send it through the dive loop a couple times, and maybe even the stall a couple times. It's gonna be fun. I cannot wait for the daytime full cycle stuff to start happening. Hopefully, I'm thinking that might happen after Halloween Horror Nights at this rate. That's pretty much everything from this vantage point, so let's make our way towards the escalator and the front of the building, see what's going on. Okay, just beyond French Street, you can see that there isn't a train in the load and unload, so it might be in the maintenance bay. And another new addition to the layout are these speakers that have been installed along the brake section and the block section. So those are pretty neat. Yeah, there's a lot of components that have to be installed, especially leading up to the testing phase. They got to make sure everything's ready to go. Now, right outside the Hollywood Drift gift shop, you can see a really good shot of the Scream Shield being installed. There's so many pieces involved with this, and it literally looks like a K'NEX set or Lincoln Log set, so it's so cool to watch. And you can also see that they've installed some other massive support columns to hold up that structure, because yeah, it's going to wrap all the way around that element to obviously dampen the noise as much as possible. There are also some more speakers along this section of track, because yeah, this is another area where the ride could stop. So obviously they need to make an announcement, and yeah, you gotta have some audio. I'm thinking this piece right here is the end of the support structure for this Scream Shield. Obviously we'll get a better view when we walk over there, but yeah, I believe this is the last giant one. And at this rate, I think they're gonna finish up the structure here in the next probably week or so, and then they'll move on to the tedious task of installing the glass panels, which will go in between all of those pieces. Made it over to the escalators, and OMG, look at this structure. I mean, now that the Scream Shield is growing and they're adding more pieces to it, and it's just up against the track there, I mean, this is bonkers in person. You have to see this in person because it's insane. This is the one really cool thing I love about the construction process is just watching all of this go up. They still have a little bit to go. You can see they still haven't made it over the top of the escalator, but just this alone right here, I mean, yeah, this is nuts. And they haven't even gotten to the glass yet. So remember, in between all those spaces are going to be pieces of glass or plastic just like this. It's going to look almost identical, but man, oh man. It's really hard to tell on camera, but this structure, like with the track there and the support columns and everything, this is gargantuan. And then here's the other side, and again, another look at the outdoor queue space. Kind of looking the same since my last video. They haven't really done anything new, maybe a few trees, but yeah, there are those new support columns. Now, yeah, I think that's it. I'm not seeing any empty footings that need support columns, so that will be the last one right there. But I mean, look at that. It literally looks like something out of a Lego set or K'NEX set. You remember those? I had a few K'NEX sets. It's an insane structure. And then once this entire unit is complete, I mean, yeah, I can only imagine how that's gonna look. I mean, it sticks out for sure. And then here's the view from the Simpsons area. This is the exit of Simpsons, and yeah, I mean, this looks so cool. And you can see how, yeah, it wraps around the track there because, again, they have to make sure that all of that sound is going this way, towards the theme park and away from the studio. Here's another view of the coaster vehicles hanging out on the block section. And the scaffolding is still up on the other side as well. And then we have the sound wall from this angle. And of course, the Theme Park Obsession office. That is now finished. So if you're wondering where I do all my editing, yeah, it's right down in there. And then along the fire road there, you have another shot of the permanent fence that went in the past couple days. So that looks to be done. Now, before I make my way out of the park, I wanted to make a pit stop at the Lookout one more time and also tell you that there's some refurbs happening in Super Silly Funland. We have the entrance signage being worked on. Looks like it's getting a little touch up. And the shade structure that goes around the water play area is also being worked on, so I'll keep an eye on that. I wouldn't be surprised if scaffolding goes up around this too, because you can see it is a little faded, and it's pretty normal when this area goes down for refurb during the holidays because it's cold and, you know, obviously people are not running around in the water. Alrighty, here's one last look for today. Let me zoom in one more time. I can't wait for the crew to start drawing on the test dummies because usually they do. And they put like funny faces and everything on them. That in itself will be an update. I'll make a whole separate video on just that because it cracks me up every time I see it. Very cool stuff here at Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. opening sometime in 2026, but I'm thinking because of how everything's going, we might see some soft openings early 2026. And maybe if we're lucky, at the end of the holiday season. You never know. You could see that crews are continuing to be really efficient over there in the surface lot because they're putting together the Scream Shield in different sections. And I'm sure once they're done with that, they'll hoist those sections up into place, which will go around the dive loop right there. You could already see the support columns going in. And they will probably get that done a lot faster than the Scream Shield going up over the escalator, just because they're working in these massive pieces versus probably one at a time. Okay, I've made my way into the Universal Studios store because I wanted to tell you that some of the Halloween Horror Nights merchandise is already on sale. So just keep that in mind. When you are here shopping for HHN merch, select items will be on sale right now. And then as we approach the end of the Halloween Horror Nights season, they start doing some like massive sales just so they can get rid of all the inventory. And now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe some of this is from Epic Universe. I kind of remember seeing this at Epic Universe because over there in Darkmoor at the Dark Universe land, you can go get yourself turned into a monster and then wear stuff like this. So you totally fit the part. So it's very interesting to see this stuff over here at Universal Studios Hollywood. I mean, hey, you might as well try to sell it, right? Especially during the Halloween season. Well, I gotta say, that was a pretty solid update from Fast and Furious Hollywood Drift. But there's a few more things to talk about in City Walk, so let's stroll through City Walk to see what's going on there. Okay, check these photos out. As I was walking out of the park, Universal released their official stills of Hollywood Drift testing this morning, and the footage looks so darn good. Now, again, this is early, so we're not seeing any of the crazy spinning or anything like that just yet. Eventually we will, and I'm sure those photos and videos are going to look bonkers, but for right now, yeah, these look so fantastic. The hype is real. The hype is getting crazier for me because I'm so ready for this ride. The fact that we're getting a spinning coaster here in Southern California on this scale is just amazing. It looks like Universal released 4 photos in total, 2 off-ride and 2 on-ride, and the on-ride ones look to be from the first launch right outside the load and unload, and then through the first inversion of the attraction. And then the 2 off-ride photos are of the train going through the inversion and the train traversing the little bunny hop moment before it goes over the fire road. Okay, back to City Walk. It looks like the chicken gyro place that was gonna go here is no longer going here, and something else is going to be in this spot, so I'll be keeping an eye on it. Of course, the very big news here at City Walk is that Slice House is now open, so if you are coming to Halloween Horror Nights in the next few days and you want to grab a very quick bite to eat, well, they do have a walk-up counter to grab a slice of pizza. If you've never had Slice House before, it's actually really, really good. And they have a few vegetarian options as well. Made it to the secondary level, and I'm looking down into Mr. Barbecue, OC's #1 Korean barbecue. According to the interwebs, this location will be opening sometime this year, which is pretty crazy. And hey, if that's the case, all that means is that I will be able to consume my body weight in Korean barbecue a lot sooner. Okay, there's a lot of work happening on the Woody Woodpecker lot project. So let's head over here to see what's going on this week. I mean, I can definitely hear all the activity, that is for sure. Oh wow, yeah, look at all of the concrete that has been poured. And look at this, we have new escalators going in. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how this security hub is supposed to work. I mean, clearly we're going to be walking to these escalators right here and making our way downstairs to this area, but I just want to see the final layout, right? I want to see the concept art. Crews have made so much progress in such a short period of time, so huge shout out to those working on the Woody Woodpecker surface lot project. Allegedly, this is all a precursor for the hotel that is supposed to go right over here and the rest of the surface lot. So yeah, this just could be the start of very big things coming to Universal Studios Hollywood, and I love to see all of these things happen very quickly. We don't like waiting around for this stuff. We want to experience rides and attractions and even security hubs right away. And then here's just a slightly different angle of what's going on today. Yeah, everything's looking great. I'm sure they're going to get this done by like January or February. They might get this done before the roller coaster opens, to be honest. Well, you know what? That's going to do it for today's video from Universal Studios Hollywood. I hope you enjoyed this update. If you did, you could let me know by smashing the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel and you love these updates from Universal or some of your other favorite theme parks, well, you should consider subscribing because I have brand new videos every single week. I have an X account, an Instagram account, and of course, a second channel. All of those links will be down below in the description, so be sure to check that out. But until the next video, I hope you have a beautiful day, morning, evening, whatever it is. I'll see you next time in the parks. Bye.